Jose gets lairy, City put 5 past Burnley, and Watford stop Wolves in their tracks. Welcome to the Top Bins Premier League review for Game Week 9. I'm Mike, he's Dave, and this is a Top Bins Premier League review for Game Week 9. We've got all the action covered and we're going to get straight into the nitty gritty. There's nowhere else we can start other than at Stamford Bridge with what was on paper the game of the weekend, and it was probably the game of the weekend in terms of talking points and action. Dave, talk to me.
Had a lot, didn't it? I mean, it was a great watch. The goals were scored in a great order to make it bloody thoroughly exciting, especially the last goal.
Where did United's goals come from though? Like it was just a weird thing where they just hit Chelsea like with 2 goals that I could not see coming at all.
No, and they didn't look all that dangerous for long parts of the game, but then all of a sudden, in those moments, they really sprung to life.
Bam, bam, just knocks them. But that second one, lovely hit.
You got to play him, right?
Yeah,
I mean, all the talk about not playing him, he's 3 goals in 3 games in the last 3 games. Where he's starting, I mean, you just got to start the guy.
Jose gave him a little hug as well. A little
cheeky
hug and a kiss. Give him a little feel as well. And,
speaking of Jose.
Yeah, Jose, I mean, the talking point at the end of the game, it blew up at the end. Lack of class, I think, shown totally by Chelsea. And in particular their, I don't know who it was, their physio or someone in their staff, their backroom staff. First going past the bench in kind of the United bench and slapping the...
was it Carrick?
Yeah, I think
one of the assistants.
And then he comes back and he gets right in their face. Just a lack of class. And Jose reacted and I think most of us would react, to be honest. If you're going back to a team that you managed and you saw the spice come out at the end where he's looking up to the stands and showing the 3.
He loves the 3.
Respect and 3. But you know what? I think he's got every right in this case to do it because he's been totally disrespected in the place that he's done. He made a lot of good things happen. And I thought that was totally unnecessary. In terms of what the Chelsea backroom staff did. I know that they've come out afterwards, Chelsea, and said that it's not acceptable and they apologise. But yeah, lack of class, and I think Jose blew up, and I would have blown up as well, to be honest.
Yeah, I think
nutted the geezer.
I think Sarri handled it pretty well.
Yeah.
I think he was pretty good about it and apologised straight away and tried to calm it down straight away and talked of the great things like you mentioned that Jose had done at Chelsea.
Yeah.
But I also thought if this wasn't Mourinho, I don't think we'd even be talking about this half as much.
True.
Like it's just because
it was Neil Warnock. Standard. It'd be another day in the office for him.
No one would really give a shit. And I think, in terms of what he did, no problem with it. I'd be pissed if someone did that to me. Move on. Great result for United, I think. Great result to go to Stamford Bridge
really
and
good
take
point. They'll be disappointed they were 2-1 up with seconds left to play, and then they end up drawing 2-2. But still a great point considering how Chelsea are playing at the moment. Final word on this game. Hazard looked a little bit out of sorts in this one. We were singing his praise. He's been great this season. Just looked a bit out of sorts. Didn't look right.
No, it had to happen eventually, right? I mean, he's gone off on the international break and played a couple of games as well. Yeah. And I think, he did look a little off, but I'd expect him to shake it off pretty quickly. He's been brilliant this season. All
right, another one of the big boys. Man City putting 5 past Burnley.
Easy 5.
Scary, isn't it? Scary when you see.
What was it? 1-0 at half time.
1-0 at half time.
I mean, I genuinely thought I think I picked 3-0.
Oh, you did.
And I was pretty confident that 3-0 looked good. I thought they'd lose a couple in the second half, but I didn't expect it to turn how it did. I mean, Leroy Sané, he ruined like 3 other chances to score. It could have been 8-10 now.
Didn't score any ordinary goals, did they?
No, they didn't.
Mahrez, Fernandinho. Oh, even Bernardo Silva's. Like, I know the Burnley defence have stopped to watch the play. They shouldn't be doing that.
And the ball went out.
Yeah, and the ball went out. But the pace that Silva's put that across to Silva, and he's hit it first time and put it in the top corner. Stunning.
Second time he's hit one like that this season.
He's such a great little technician, that lad. I tell you, he's really, really good. Lots of talent.
He'll be gutted that Kevin De Bruyne's back. He got subbed for him, and I bet he's thinking to himself, "Oh boy, my starts are going to start going down." But
City will be delighted that KDB's back.
Of course, and the City fans, absolutely.
He's pivotal to them. I mean,
it's
scary that they're winning without him and Sterling as well.
No Sterling, no Kevin De Bruyne. 5 different scorers.
Unbelievable.
It says everything about City, doesn't it?
They're scary at the moment. Burnley, nothing you can really say. You just draw a line under that one. You knew you're never going to get anything from it. You don't want to get battered like that, but it happens. City are a great team. Draw a line under it and move on and see what happens next week. But gonna move. I'm torn between where to move to next because there's two very good games to talk about. I'm gonna move for the other end of the table for the significance of this game. It was a cracker. It was 4-2 at Cardiff.
It was a great game.
We've talked all season, Dave, about defensive vulnerability, defensive naivety of Fulham. I'm going to go out there and say they were just non-existent defensively. Embarrassing at times. The final goal, the fourth goal, epitomised to me what they are all about defensively. When I think it was Tim Ream went to get the ball as it's gone past him, he's fallen over, giving it away.
Yeah.
And then they've had about 4 bites of the cherry, Cardiff, and they still managed to get it and put a cross in and knock it in. I mean,
and he's had a poor game all round, really. And the keeper's had a poor game, and the manager shuffled the deck again, and we keep saying you're not going to fix this problem by changing the personnel every week. A
defensive line that's got centre backs of Callum Chambers and Tim Ream going to struggle in the Premier League.
Chambers lucky to stay on the pitch for some of the.
But he would have been. I think the Fulham fans would have rather he got sent off, to be honest, mate, because he was terrible. He's just not the player they need. They need some Premier League quality in that defence because they are shocking at the moment. But let's give a shout out. Goal of the weekend. Andre Schürrle. We talked about how much he loves to shoot last week. But what a hit.
What a goal.
Sick a boo, son. That's an absolute cracker, isn't it?
It was a great one. And Ryan Sessegnon, and this is what really frustrates me with Fulham, is going forward, they're really starting to build. Yeah. And Sessegnon's really warming into the Premier League. And Schürrle's back up to the pace, and what a goal that was. And you think,
fizzy banger that
granted, Mitrovic seems to have gone off the boil a little, but I think the service to him hasn't been as good.
Yeah, and still like we said, he's not always going to be a goal scorer. He's going to be a link man as well, and that's a kind of striker that he is. So I'm not surprised that he's gone off the boil a little bit. You think that against teams like Cardiff, that's his kind of his stock team that he'll get goals against, but
the centre backs and the keeper,
they're just all over the shot. The first goal, Josh Murphy is in about 15 yards of space. So Bamba could have sat down, had a sandwich, got up, and still found him in space because there was so much of it.
Absolutely.
It was a great finish by Josh Murphy. Hats off. A second goal of the season.
And a great game as well.
He played very well and a very good goal for him. And Warnock will be delighted with that 3 points. To get 3 points at home, get them properly underway for their season. You could see what it meant to him.
Oh, and how was the crowd?
Well, when Bobby Reid scored that goal, you see what it means to him. When he goes running off and jumping in the air like he's a 7-year-old kid scored his first ever goal. It meant a lot to him. And that Cardiff fans will be loving that passion that they're seeing from their team. Fulham have got a lot to work on. They are, I'll tell you what, they're big trouble if they're going to go to a team like Cardiff and concede 4.
Was that 19 they've conceded now in 9 games? I mean, that is horrific. And they really have to sort some shit out at the back, because I just think you just got to give 4 guys at the back a go and let them build. And if you keep shuffling the deck, it's not. Then he's not shuffling the deck from injury or fitness,
because he doesn't know
who his best back 4 are. Exactly, and I think you just need to figure it out at training, sort it out, and then just stick with them for 5 weeks, and then tweak it if you have to. But
agreed.
Every week changing, it's just shuffling the decks on the Titanic.
It puts doubts in the minds of the players as well. The manager doesn't quite know the best. Are they good enough? Who's going to be picked this week? Who's going to play? It's not good for a team when you have that kind of inconsistency at the back, and it's showing this season and with Fulham's performances. They're going to need to do a lot. They're going to need to do a lot to turn this round, I tell you.
And the other teams down where they're playing at the moment, most of them actually played a lot better.
They did, and they look a lot more solid at the back, those teams as well. And that's crucial when you're in that relegation battle. If you cannot concede goals, that is going to be crucial, because I tell you what, the points are very tight at the end of the season between these teams at the bottom, and goal difference can make such a massive difference.
It will make a big difference, and Fulham are hurting themselves already. So.
Yeah. All right. So to the other game I was pondering, but another cracker. Fulham. Arsenal against Leicester. 3-1 was the final score, but it doesn't probably do the game quite the justice that Leicester were decent. Leicester weren't bad at all. They had an enforced change at centre back. Johnny Evans came in for Wes Morgan. Change, really. But I'm not convinced about why teams think Johnny Evans is the answer to a defensive question, because it baffles me. I don't think he's very good.
Well, he didn't make the grade at United. They didn't want him.
He was
now
at West
all
Brom.
of a sudden every team wants him.
He was at West Brom, and yeah, he's gonna look good because they play 9, 15, 25 men behind the ball. Everyone's a good defender with that many defenders around you, but I just don't think. There was talk of him going to City last season.
Unbelievable.
I just don't see it with myself. But anyway, to the game. Another cracking goal scored in this game. Arsenal's third goal was a joy to watch. What a team goal that was. Again, just that movement, that understanding is so good. It's different type of goal to Schürrle's.
It was.
Schürrle's is one of those fizzy banger individual goals where you just shift it, hit it, top bins, lovely. But Arsenal goal was pure football.
It was.
And that's what you like to see. And Ozil gets his negative comments and detractors. I'm probably one of them as well, because he doesn't do it in big games. But that decision to flick it up to Aubameyang to finish that goal off, lovely. And Ozil's goal was stunning as well.
It was a good goal, wasn't it?
Soft feet with that finish. Love that finish, the way he's guided that into the bottom corner. That's a proper finish.
It was, and he did have a good game, and it was the second game in a row we're talking about a stunning Arsenal team goal as well.
Yeah.
And you've just got to say Emery's starting to work it.
Looks like it's happening, doesn't it?
They're still going to concede, and this is going to be the thing. The defence might be fragile, but he's got the front clicking so well.
Yeah.
I think this season he's going to get away with it.
Saying that and picking up on what you said there, Dave. Like I think Leicester could have got 3 or 4 in this game. They hit the bar. Harry Maguire's got to bury a header there. Iheanacho in the first half had 3 or 4 chances. He's just, again, he's another player I'm not convinced about anymore. I don't think he's Premier League quality. He takes too long. He ponders over his chances. He's not good enough. And City would have let him go for a reason. I think if City thought they had a player on their hands there, they would have kept him. And I think he's in 4 or 5 years' time, he's going to find himself in the Championship or in the French League, doing nothing for no one.
Playing for Thierry Henry.
Playing for Thierry. Next game I want to talk about. Didn't predict it. Hard to predict this one because they're on such a rich vein of form. But Watford getting stopped dead in their tracks against stopping Wolves dead in their tracks. I don't know whether I'm impressed with Watford's performance or disappointed that Wolves didn't quite turn up in this game, but there seemed to be something missing from Wolves this week.
58 seconds really was the game, wasn't it? I mean, 58 seconds, you concede 2. Decore had a great game.
He did. 2 assists and he played really well.
He absolutely bossed the midfield. 2 assists. Everything he did, he just looked really confident, really composed in what he did, knew what he was doing and was pulling the strings. And I love watching him when he's like that.
Yeah.
When he plays like that, you think he could play for any team he wanted to.
Yeah.
He looked great. And again, it was our boy Pereira.
What a finish, son.
Doesn't score simple goals. And I mean,
technically gifted lad, that is.
Stunning goal again. I mean,
he's one of those lads that would have turned up to 5-a-side when you're like 15. And absolutely rinsed the lot of you and done you again, and then Meg's a keeper. He's just one of those players. He's got all of it in his locker. Just needs that consistency. Needs to turn up.
And I'd like to see, him just score a normal goal, just a goal where he's got a couple of guys in front of him and he just blasts it into the corner.
Yeah.
I mean, he just. It's always the spectacular, and sometimes it doesn't need to be. And I wonder whether or not that's just him as a person, because he's definitely got that showman streak to him.
Yeah,
but look, Watford thoroughly deserved the win. I thought
Capoue.
Yeah,
not good goal, bad goalkeeping.
Yeah, a bit of both. I didn't think it was
It's
great
gone through the legs. It's gone through the legs. So
Connor Cody's legs.
Yes, he probably hasn't seen it till late, Patricio, but. He looked disappointed, and that says a lot about a keeper, because it's gone about 3 yards inside the post, so he's probably not going to be happy with that when he sees it.
No, and Connor Cody could have probably done a lot better as well. True. He just sort of stood there like a stunned mullet. But speaking of, poor Nuno, after the minute of the 2 goals, he's just stood there dead. He just looked absolutely shit.
Well, they've not really tasted a defeat like that, where they've been outplayed and kind of dominated in midfield as well. And that's probably the first game, credit to Watford, that they've had to experience that. Even when they went to City, they didn't get dominated like that. And
that's right.
And Watford went there and played with a very specific style and structure and formation in mind. they did their jobs and they did the business, and fair play to them. They got the result. It's a really good result to go to Molineux and get the 3 points when they're in this form. So credit to Watford.
Oh look, now you got to ask, can Watford start kick on? I mean, they've been disappointing for a few weeks, and we've said that. Is this what they needed to spark themselves? They did look better. Wolves came back into the game and were quite unlucky at times not to have picked a goal up at least themselves.
Yeah.
What will happen in the week now to G them up for the next week? How do they deal with this kind of loss?
Let's go to Huddersfield now. It wasn't a particularly great game. But
what do you mean it wasn't particularly great? It was awful.
But it was meaningful. Well, it was meaningful in terms of the title race. Liverpool picked up 3 points, but did it in very lacklustre fashion again.
Good finish from Salah.
Nice ball from Shaqiri.
Great ball from Shaqiri.
A couple of changes. Lallana was in. Studge was in. Shaqiri was in.
Lovren was in, and God, Lovren was awful.
He was awful. Alisson looked a little bit shaky as well. And look, credit. This is where we said earlier about Fulham and the teams around them doing a bit better than they are at the moment. Credit to Huddersfield. They defended really resolutely. Not a great performance for the home fans to enjoy, but I mean, if you're going to go and watch Huddersfield-Liverpool, you're not expecting a free-flowing attacking game from your home team. So,
and the fans got right behind. I was really impressed. Right to the end, they were right behind.
And they hit the post. Yeah, they hit the post. A cracking effort, all right, as a pot shot from 30 yards. But it's still, I mean, they could have nicked a goal there, and that would have been, it really would have put the cat amongst the pigeons if they managed to get a draw there. That would have been a big upset. But
Liverpool still, I mean, we say this every week. I mean, they don't look right. They don't look.
When's it going to change, Dave?
Well, I don't know, and this is the problem. Mane's got a broken thumb, who's come back to training now, so he'll be fit for Red Star this week, so hopefully the weekend.
Yeah.
Firmino's back to full fitness. You know, guys are coming back. I'm still not sure about Keita, but I mean, even when they did have all the guys in place, they just didn't look right. And I don't know what it is. They still haven't found the free-flowing attacking football. But I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
If you're equal on points with Manchester City,
it's effective, isn't it?
You're now a couple of points ahead of Chelsea, and you haven't yet put together. Well, you've put one good I think honestly one really good performance this season so far, and that was the first game against West Ham.
Yeah, agreed.
So that's eight weeks in a row where you've scraped results.
Yeah,
that's what championship teams do. It. Look at United in their era of dominance. They'd play awful and win, and this is what Liverpool are doing.
George Graham's Arsenal, same. One thing I will have a moan about this week is the information that your physios are feeding the fantasy football team. Jimmy Milner out to the November the 25th. He looked fine to me, mate.
Well, what's going on? Well, he's done himself again in the game. Well, it's the latest, so that might actually be accurate. You might find that they're actually the oracles, because he's twinged himself in the game, and they reckon it's worse than the initial injury. So you may find that that's actually a bold prediction from someone that's going to come.
Jimmy Milner.
But what the last thing I'll say about that game, obviously we talked about it. Two best mates going head to head, and they did a fabulous interview after the game for BT Sport. I don't know if you see it, but really funny, really hilarious, very complimentary of each other as you'd expect, but also very. You know, they were still two opposing managers, and it was awesome to see. It was really funny, and you know, Klopp admitting he watches every game that Huddersfield play. It was quite cute, but it was also funny because they're like, we like it now it's over because we can't talk for a week. We're allowed to have banter and
imagine their
again.
WhatsApp. Wonder what they share in their WhatsApp.
Imagine what happens when they go out for beers. That'd be too
probably
great.
A lot of banter about Jose in their WhatsApp.
Two great blokes to have a beer with, I bet you. But not much of a game. That was probably the highlight for me. Salah getting a goal, a couple of funny Germans having a pint afterwards. Let's move on.
All right, to the other half of Merseyside and Everton. Dave called it, said it'd be a stinker, this game. It was pretty much for 80 minutes or so. It was a proper stinker.
It was.
There weren't many chances. There was a missed penalty from Milivojevic. Sounds good. But ultimately, Palace are just ruining the fact that they've got no goal outlet, and they again got made to pay. I mean, Cenk, 5 goals a season. Tosun scored his second of the season.
Yep, that's it.
He's got 3 more. 3 more he'll get this season, and he's
on
done.
pace to get like 7 if he keeps this up.
That's dangerous. Good finish.
It was a good finish.
Horrendous defending. I don't know where, there was no defence. It was when Chen Tossen is running out into open space. You've got to look at your defence and go, "What the fuck is going on, lads?" Because you are. There must be a gap wider than the Euro tunnel in there to let him have the space to run into to finish like that. But Palace, I think they're in big trouble, mate.
Poor Hennessy. I mean, Hennessy can't save you every game. He has been heroic this season so far.
He has.
And I'll be honest, I always thought he was a slightly above average keeper.
Yeah, but
I've actually changed my opinion of him this season because some of the stuff he has saved with that defence in front of him, he's been outstanding. And it makes you think if he had a great defence in front of him, he could be world class.
Yeah.
But that defence is just going to hang him out to dry, and it did. And like you say, it was a piss poor game of football for 80 minutes.
Yep.
I was falling asleep watching it. I got up, watched it in the morning, wished I'd stayed in bed because it was boring. But yeah, decent result for Everton, and I mean they'll march on with a decent result. But Palace are slowly falling down that table, and they're going to find themselves in a lot of trouble.
And they're finishing a lot of games with a donut in on their side of the score, and that's got to be the most worrying for them. We've said it before, we'll say it again. They look absolutely void of any options going forward, apart from Wilf Zaha, and even he's starting to look like he can't do it. The thing is, when you go out against Palace now, you know that all you've got to do is double up on Zaha. There's nothing else that they've got. No. And so it's easy to play them. You just get your holding midfielder and one of your defenders to sitting on Zaha, and you're sorted. Then all you've got to do is go and get a goal and you've won the game. Like I tell you what, Roy's going to be very worried. He's got to dip into the transfer market in January and sign a striker because Sorloth, is it Sorloth?
Yeah.
He's not good enough. They brought fucking Connor Wickham on. He's been out for 2 years. I didn't even know he still played football.
I thought he'd basically retired. Yeah, he was the next Peter Crouch, the next bloody piece
Connor
of crap.
Wickham gets chucked on the last 5-10 minutes. You've got to be thinking as a Palace fan, oh my word, what is going on here? Because you're not getting goals when players like that come on. And they're in big trouble if they can't score. Just like Fulham conceding goals. If they can't score goals, you ain't going to beat teams.
And that's it. Huddersfield aren't scoring goals, and yet I feel like, honestly, they're in a better position because I feel like they're nearly there.
Yeah, and they can.
Whereas Crystal Palace, Roy's just got no clue how to get them playing well.
Nah.
They look bad at the back, they look bad in the middle, they look awful at the front.
Yep.
I just don't see how they get it right without, like you say, a couple of good transfers.
Another rubbish game. We're on the run of rubbish games from this weekend. West Ham, Spurs. Not much to talk about. Eric the Apple got his goal. Yeah. Lovely. Nice
goal, but shit game.
Musa Sissoko.
He had a great game.
He had a great game. I think that's his one game a season that he has. It's a good game. I don't rate him as a footballer. I think I think he's a very powerful athlete. I think technically as a footballer, he's all over the shop. But great setup for Lamela, who you would not have put money on Lamela scoring the only goal in that game with his head.
Not something he does often. And like you say, it's funny. If you watch that, it's the first time you ever watched Sissoko play. For me, he actually had a great game. His whole game was great.
But if you watch him in 9 other games,
you'd have thought, holy cow, this guy's a talent.
Yeah.
And then he won't play like that again for 10 weeks. But he did play very well. But Spurs, again, another team that just are not finding any kind of rhythm or form, are they?
But at the same time, they're grinding out those wins as well. They're getting those 3 points. And that's got to be the most pleasing thing for Poch, because it's probably the only positive he can take off that is that he's getting the wins, even though they're not playing amazingly. West Ham didn't really offer much, did they?
Big problems now with Yarmolenko as well. I mean, Arnautovic has been their best finisher, but Yarmolenko's been the guy that's been quite often pulling the strings and setting things up. Didn't look a good injury. He looked bad, and you saw that when Arnautovic went up to him and was like, we'll do this for you. But you got the impression this guy's going to be out for a while. Felipe Anderson missing.
Terrible.
I mean, just awful. Absolutely AWOL.
Awful game for him.
Just, the West Ham that made the T-shirts a thing, right back again, and
get your pre-orders in.
That's it. We got to call the printers again.
They're gonna get printed in March if you want them. We'll know by then if they properly stink of it or not.
Printers are getting bloody sick of us calling up every week
Changing
and saying,
hold
on.
Yeah,
but this week, the smells come back.
All right. Bournemouth. Doing my nutting. I'll keep putting them in my accumulator when I think they're going to win. They go out and they draw against one of the worst teams in the Premier League. and get a 0-0 draw. I mean, it was a rubbish game. Not much going for. Southampton are a horrible team.
Charlie Austin should have settled it for Southampton.
He really
had
should
the
have.
best chance of the game.
And I tell you what, I said it before. He's looking very bereft of confidence at the moment, Charlie, and it's not a good sign for Southampton. I mean, they got a point, and they'll take that as a good point because Bournemouth are playing well at the moment, and Southampton going to Bournemouth and getting a point is probably a really good result for them. But they've still got bigger problems, and I think scoring goals is going to be a big problem for them. Although they kept a clean sheet, I worry about them at the back. If you look at their defensive lineup, not very strong at all. I think it was a poor game. Disappointed in Bournemouth. Think they're better than that. We've seen them be much better than that, but they're inconsistent as anything this season, just like Watford. And
if they want to challenge for Europe, which I think they're capable of doing,
yeah,
I think they're capable of taking that last Europa League spot that Burnley got last year.
I think they don't. You know what? I don't think it's worth them getting it though, Dave. I think if they do, the same thing that happened to Burnley will happen to them. They haven't got a deep enough squad to play in Europe.
I just don't get the week in, week out of this team. I mean, they're at home this week playing a poor Southampton side, and they looked the worst side. And you look at the table, you'd think they're in the opposite positions. You'd think that Southampton were unlucky to not pinch it. Because, Austin's chance for me was the best chance of the game. Bournemouth I don't get it. At home, that poor. Now, if I was Eddie Howe, I would be absolutely hair-drying those guys when they got back to the dressing room because it's just not good enough.
All right, final game of the weekend at St James's, Newcastle and Brighton. Weren't a cracker. There were chances for Newcastle. Brighton ended up winning it 1-0 with a rather ugly goal, deflected and bobbled in about 4 times before it went in. And our mate got injured.
My boy Glenn. So
first of all, I thought it was his pacemaker that needed replacing. They were taking him off for that, but it was actually a head injury.
It wasn't a cobbled hip either. No. I mean, in all seriousness,
indigestion.
looked awful. Absolutely awful. I mean, he was out cold before he hit the ground, and then he hit the ground face first.
Glad to see he's all right now.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of the old neck brace stretching
he's
off
got,
thumbs up.
He's got a concussion, so he probably will have to sit out next week as well.
That's it. They've said he's all right, just other than concussion. I mean, thank goodness, because he could have really badly damaged.
To be honest, it'd be quite hard to tell if Glenn Murray's got concussion. Have you heard him do an interview?
Yeah, he's not.
He's not very coherent at the best of times. I don't know if they'd have been asking him questions and been like, "He seems all right, boss. Chuck him back on."
Alzheimer's, mate. Alzheimer's will do that.
But Chrissy Houghton will be delighted. 3 points.
It was a big 3 points, and both of us thought it would be fairly tight. I think we both called a draw on this game, and I thought that was where we were going because, in fairness to Newcastle, should have scored.
Should have.
Shelby's had a couple of great chances. They've had some rotten luck with some calls from the ref.
They're the makers of their own downfall this season, though, Newcastle. But whether it's a combination of them playing a really unattractive brand of football that's not going to get them wins or points or goals, or them playing a bit more attacking but not being clinical enough, not being ruthless enough, they're going to struggle big time. Where they were always going to struggle when they didn't make the signings they needed to make in the summer. And
Ashley just sat there with that smug look on his face, talking to his cronies. And
Yeah.
I mean, look, I do feel for Rafa, but it's going to be a hell of a long season, and I don't think, as much as he's not getting results, he just you can't sack him because it's just not his fault.
It's not, and they won't sack him because the one thing the fans love at the moment is Rafa, and if you get rid of Rafa, they're going to have an absolute. Their fans are just going to turn on Ashley even more than they are already, and I don't even know if that's possible, but they can't get rid of Rafa. They won't. Not the fat Spanish waiter anyway.
No, we'd love to. I mean, ultimate would be obviously a sale, but the club's not going to sell. I don't think Ashley's going to let go of his grip. I mean, if he doesn't chuck some money in January, big trouble.
Yeah,
big trouble. They'll be down there fighting with your Crystal Palaces and your Fulhams. To see who's going to go down. So I'd hate to see it because Rafa works hard and be a shame.
All right, well look, that's your Premier League review done and dusted. If you've liked this video, give it a like. Don't forget to hit subscribe, means a lot to us. Share this with all your mates as well, all your mates that love football, and let us know your thoughts about the weekend's action. Don't forget to check out our Facebook. It's facebook.com/TopBinsFantasy. Latest news and a bit of banter on there as well. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to check out the preview later on this week. Cheers.
I say walk like they talk like they know. Walking, talking like they know. What do they know? Talking like they know. Maybe they know, no.